For the first time in a while, I have no idea how I should start a video. I guess we should just begin. Hello everyone, this is VG Master 2, and I'm back, this time with Smash. So, on June 15th, as we surely all know, Nintendo announced the new Smash Bros. Fighter during their E3 Direct. The fighter in question was Kazuya Mishima from the Tekken franchise, even though apparently the people who made Tekken had supposedly deconfirmed it in interviews, which is really only more confirmation that creators will lie. And right after his trailer, we were told by Sakurai himself that the presentation was on the 28th. Well, the 28th is here, and so is the presentation, so let's get into it. The presentation begins with Sakurai, who still has subs instead of dubs, but is back in an office, which, despite looking identical to the one in the previous presentations, is apparently a bigger one. After a quick preview of the moves we saw at E3, Sakurai proceeds to explain what Tekken is. Apparently he was told to put Tekken in Smash by Nintendo, because of course, and proceeds to tell us how very different the two series are. Of course that doesn't matter because, you know, we're here today with a Tekken character, so he was clearly able to make it work. Sakurai says that he wanted a character with Devil Gene powers, and claims that Heihachi wasn't picked because he didn't have the Devil Gene. We know this is bullshit, because it's far more likely Heihachi wasn't chosen because they already brought back his Mii costume as DLC and didn't want to remake his design, rendering the costume worthless. Kazuya turns into his devil form for his mid-air attacks, smash attacks, and special attacks. Despite this, it turns out this isn't actually his gimmick. His real gimmick is his rage form, which he obtains at 100% damage or 25 HP. He can enter it once per stock, and there's even a super move that you can perform when in it. His final smash is Final Blaster, where he turns into his devil form and kills everyone with a fuckton of lasers. Sakurai discloses that Kazuya is good at making comebacks with his high attack power, but has shit range and speed. He's heavy, harder to launch, has a low jump, and automatically turns to face his opponents in 1v1 battles like the other fighting game reps. Oh, and he also has a fuckton of super armor, so rip competitive. Also, apparently he was weak as fuck when they were first testing him, so they souped him up. That's great. Kazuya has a fuckton of normal moves, and basically all of them require specific inputs. I'm not going over all of them because there's way too fucking many, and also that's what Sakurai's for. But apparently one of his taunts doubles as an attack. That's totally not broken. The stage is Mishima Dojo. It has walls that you can break that randomly regrow, and Heihachi just kinda sits there in the middle the whole time. Sakurai then uses Kazuya in battle before showing us the song list. It has 39 fucking songs, but only 8 of them are new remixes. There's also no victory theme. Instead, the announcer from Tekken says that Kazuya wins, just like in his original franchise. Sakurai also shows off all of Kazuya's victory screens. He then shows off the alt colors, and god damn that 8th skin! Also, Devil Kirby. Next, the Mii costumes. Oh god. First up, as everyone expected, was Lloyd from the Tales series, the last character-specific Mii costume from Smash 4. Then, surprisingly, the Dragonborn from Skyrim. Yes, because we all know that Bethesda has earned more money after the totally not corrupt things they did in their most recent games. After that, Dante from Devil May Cry. That's a massive rip right there. Finally, and yes, there's only 4, Shantae. And that's another rip. Shantae's essentially a deluxe costume, and she also comes with a song from Half Genie Hero. Well, I see that WayForward's cocksucking has been paying off. Kazuya releases June 29th, so the day after the presentation, and has probably been released by the time this video comes out. Sakurai then also talks about how the next character is totally gonna be the last one, guys, and I can't be the only one who finds it suspicious that he keeps hyping this shit up. If it really was the last one, he wouldn't have to say anything. He could just release the next fighter and then time would pass, and when nothing happens, we'll know it's over. Because, and I can't keep stressing this enough, Sakurai is known to be a workaholic who changes his mind a lot. And at the end of the day, he's working for Nintendo. If Nintendo wants to keep selling this game, especially if a new Switch type comes along, it makes the most financial sense that they continue. And it's also a really dangerous game to keep hyping it up, because if the last character isn't spectacular, like Byleth wasn't, which might have been why they announced the second pass so soon, then a lot of people, rightfully or not, are gonna feel super fucking betrayed. It honestly just feels like they're trying to milk hype as long as they can, so they can increase sales and then, at the very last minute, act like they had a change of heart and reveal more's coming. Besides, there's still that weird extra webpage on one of Nintendo's sites that implies extra content, and even though it became worthless after a couple of months, we've seen with Super Mario Party that Nintendo is willing to add things to games long after they come out, even if that game has had little to no history of DLC. Sakurai might be trying to convince people that the next character is the last, but in reality, the possibility of more isn't off the table until either a new game comes out for this console, or they reveal the next console. And while the former has basically no chance of happening, the latter won't be happening for years. It's just really annoying that they keep pushing this narrative of, the game is ending, oh my god, you have to believe us! It sounds really disingenuous. But speaking of characters, I guess I should talk about where the ones I've mentioned stand, since, you know, the Mii costumes kinda destroyed everything. As much as I hate to say it, I still have a gut feeling that that quote-unquote last character is gonna be a Pokemon. They might have potentially announced the second pass early because Byleth is shit, but they've probably learned their lesson, and if they wanna milk hype, leading people on until the final reveal doesn't seem too out of the question, and revealing any more DLC now would potentially reveal that the next character is going to be shit, which obviously they don't want to happen. Again, if it is a Pokemon, I think it'll be Rillaboom, because we already have 2 fire and water starters, and Rillaboom is much more interesting than guy who kicks rock, or guy who uses finger gun. I've already said when I did my E3 video that because of Kazuya and previous characters like Sephiroth, Sora and Agumon are off the table. So is Geno, but that one's pretty obvious. Not sure about Kulu Yaku, since we haven't gotten a Capcom rep in this pass, but a Monster Hunter costume was just recently added. And Sans was made a Mii costume in the last pass, so given their behavior of not wanting to touch characters they've already made DLC in any form with a 10-foot pole, I doubt he's happening, even though it would be amazing and be a much better Undertale rep than anyone else in Undertale. Other than that, because Dante was deconfirmed, that kinda makes everyone else's chances higher by default. Yes, because of his sacrifice, Waluigi, Jibanyan, and Freddy Fazbear are now more possible. Even if that's not necessarily a good thing. All I know is that if this next fucker is somehow the last character and Freddy still doesn't show up as a Mii costume after Sans, Cuphead, and Shantae got in, and 2 of those are actually just characters from small companies that work closely with console makers that people only think are indie, I'm gonna laugh. Yeah, I'm gonna have a good laugh. Because That essentially means that either Nintendo didn't ask Scott, which is foolish but understandable, or they did ask, and Scott is that much of a fucking retard that he said no. At the end of the day, Scott has been a huge piece of shit ever since he started the franchise, and I promise you, one day I will review the franchise. I promise I'm not just a salty non-fan. It's gonna happen sometime this century. The point is, if Freddy doesn't get an ultimate in some capacity, I won't be mad. Just surprised. Not even disappointed. Well, unless it comes out that Scott was asked and turned them down, then I'll be mad and disappointed. But Scott's a liar anyway, so... yeah, that's basically it. Sakurai said that we won't be seeing the next fighter until much later, which implies they're gonna super milk that hype until... I'm gonna guess November. So, with that being said, I'm VG Master 2, and I hope to see you next time.